Do you think if you weren't doing this stuff that it would get done?
If I wasn't doing it, no.
You feel like you're making a difference?
I don't know, I try. I just only hope that when I'm dead and gone, they might appreciate it a little bit more.
The royal family has been in a lot of trouble lately because of a string of scandals and news stories. Reports about Camilla have been making people question the monarchy for a long time, which has hurt the royal family's reputation. People lost all faith in the royal family when Camilla's ex-husband revealed shocking information in a new video. What did he want to say? One of the most well-known weddings in British history has shocked the royal family to its core, and some people are calling for the end of the throne. A shocking discovery is made in a video that was recently found. Andrew Parker Bowles, Camilla Parker Bowles' first husband, knew all about her affair with Prince Charles. Their friendship wasn't a secret at all. There was little pretense about it. The video gives the impression that Andrew agreed to the affair because he saw how close Camilla and the future king were. The affair was well known in their upper-class social groups, and Andrew seemed to be okay with it as a normal part of their marriage. This strange arrangement seemed to last for a long time without any problems, showing how complicated relationships are in royal and high society groups. However, Andrew Parker Bowles did nothing to stop his wife from being with another man in an unholy relationship. Because of threats? Or just because it was easier for them to get married? The love triangle. How does an unpleasant love story turn into one of the most famous parts of British royal history? Christopher Anderson, who wrote The King, the Life of Charles, gives an answer. He says that the relationship between Charles and Camilla is full of scandal, cheating, and dishonesty. The public knew about their love story for a long time before they got married in 2005. It was sadly linked to the problems Diana, the people's princess, had in her marriage, which ended in her death in 1997. After Diana's death, her problems became public, and Camilla Parker Bowles, who was married to Diana, played a key role as a third party. Diana broke down in tears when she said in her famous 1995 Panorama interview, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." Because she was honest, there was no question about the emotional pain she was going through, which made Camilla look like the bad guy in a very public love triangle. Over 700 million people around the world saw this picture of Camilla as the woman who ended one of the most loved royal marriages. It hurt her reputation for a long time. It wasn't unusual for reporters to stir up trouble, and they did just that with scandalous stories about how Diana's cries for attention were ignored, even when she hurt herself to try to get Prince Charles's attention again. But there was Camilla, who won over the heart of a future king who was already married. Since her low-key wedding to Prince Charles at the time, she has worked hard to improve her public image by doing royal tasks and many charitable activities. But can these things really get rid of the history that haunts her? Experts agree that she did a lot for the royal family, but they also say that for many people, what she did during the famous love triangle will always be remembered. Betraying and lying to the loved Princess Diana left a stain that is hard to forget. People who are close to the royal family, like Camilla's ex-husband Andrew Parker Bowles, have recently said things that have made people even less trusting of the royal family. The role of Camilla's ex-husband. So what would make a man agree to his wife's affairs even in their own home? Were they trying to make money, or did they pay a much higher price for his silence? A lot of people who saw the new video have been thinking about these questions since it came out. There are reports that Camilla's ex-husband, Andrew Parker Bowles, was promised money for her and their children in return for his silence. It is said that their 2 children were raised with royal money and that their futures were protected in a way that the public didn't know about. But that's not the end of the story. Even though his wife's affair with a future king made him look bad, putting up with it must have come with even more benefits and advantages that few people could imagine. What other words of promise did Parker make that he wouldn't say? Maybe it was his important position in the Church of England and the trouble it could cause for the monarchy, which has now been made public. Some sources say it's because he wants to be loyal, keep his money safe, and protect his children. Parker Bowles allegedly wanted to keep his kids out of the public eye so he could protect his own reputation. People are furious about the news that royal funds may have been used to pay for this deal, which was based on betrayal and treachery. Many people see this as a terrible waste of money and royal power, which makes people even less likely to trust the government. More openness and responsibility are being called for because this scandal has added to the growing list of problems with the monarchy. The royal family has been through a lot in the last few decades, with scandal after scandal making the news. There have been rumors of an affair between the future king and Rose Hanbury and the dramatic breakup of Prince Harry and Meghan Markle. The royal story has not been calm at all. These scandals have led many people to call for more openness in the kingdom. But did you know that Camilla and Andrew Parker Bowles' split wasn't because she cheated on him or they couldn't get along anymore? Andrew shockingly revealed that the reason they broke up on March 3, 1995, was to make room for Camilla's relationship with Prince Charles, who was still married to Princess Diana at the time. This statement backs up long-held rumors about Princess Diana's divorce the next year, in 1996. It shows that her leaving the marriage was part of a plan to make room for Charles and Camilla's famous relationship. Andrew said that the split was set up so that Camilla and Charles could continue their affair without anyone knowing. He didn't say anything because of his important position in the Church of England. Everything about the case was carefully planned to serve the interests of everyone involved, from when the divorces happened to how the story was told to the public. This new information makes Camilla's already bad image even worse. Even though these things were going on behind the scenes, Princess Diana wasn't going to do nothing while her marriage fell apart. In her own way, she fought back. But what did she really do? The bold confrontation. Princess Diana, who was known for being honest, took charge of her story in 1992 by secretly recording a series of interviews with royal author Andrew Morton for her book. At the time, she thought the media wasn't showing how hard it was for her to be in a marriage with the royal family. Diana planned a secret project with Morton because she wanted to tell her side of the story. To keep everything secret, she never met him in person. Instead, she used a close friend, Dr. James Colthurst, to record her thoughts from Kensington Palace. Colthurst then gave the tapes to Morton. The shocking information on these tapes was about Diana's childhood, her struggle with bulimia, and even her heartbreaking efforts to hurt herself. But what might have been most impressive was how brave she was when she decided to face the things that were destroying her marriage. Who did she talk to about her plans to save her marriage? At first, Morton claimed that Diana had nothing to do with the story, but after her tragic death in Paris in 1997, he said that she had been his source. He later put out the full transcripts of their talks, which made Diana's voice a permanent part of the royal story. Morton's tapes were first shown in a national broadcasting company program called Princess Diana: The Secret Tape, which came out 8 years after Diana's death. But it wasn't until the 20th anniversary of Princess Diana's death that people became interested in these tapes again. In 2017, they were repackaged and shown again under the title Diana in Her Own Words. In these secret tapes, Diana talked about a beautiful meeting she had with Camilla Parker, which started because she thought they were having an affair. Diana talked about a party she and Charles went to at a friend's house. I walked into the house and extended my hand to Camilla for the first time, thinking, "Phew, I've gotten over that," she said. It was upstairs, and we were all chatting when I noticed that neither Camilla nor Charles were there. Diana went on, "This made me feel bad, so I went downstairs knowing full well what I might find there." From below, voices tried to stop me. "Diana, don't go down there," I told her. "I need to find my husband." When I got to the bottom, I stumbled upon Camilla, Charles, and a man I didn't know having a lively talk. After seeing this group, Diana openly asked to be alone with Camilla for a moment. She said, "I thought, right, this is your moment," on the tapes that were later shown in the documentary. So I walked up to them and joined their conversation as easily as if we were old friends. I told Camilla, "If it's okay, I'd love to talk to you." She lowered her head and said, "Oh yes, fine," even though she looked uncomfortable. I turned to the two guys and said, "Okay, boys, I'm just going to have a quick word with Camilla. I'll be up in a minute." I could feel the chaos building up above me as they ran upstairs in a hurry. What on earth is she going to do? "Camilla, would you like to sit down?" That's what I asked. We then settled down, and I was shaking just being around her. "Camilla, I just want you to know that I know what's going on," I said. Her answer was, "I have no idea what you mean." So I told them, "I know about your relationship with Charles, and I want you to admit it." Diana then told what Camilla had said in response. "You have everything you could ever want. Every man in the world loves you. Your kids are very pretty. What else could you want? I want my husband, was Diana's simple but moving answer. People might have thought that Prince Charles's behavior would change after this fight, but it turned out to be the exact opposite. He was completely rude to Diana on the way home in the car. "He got over me like a bad rash," she said as she cried. Diana broke down in tears and said she couldn't sleep that night because she was having trouble with her marriage. This program showed how Camilla, the other person involved in the affair, caused a lot of trouble. Diana was talking about Camilla when she said, "There were 3 of us in this marriage." After that terrible night, Diana painfully realized that she couldn't fight for Prince Charles. She decided to let them be together until she got divorced and the terrible event that left the world in sadness. But what did Charles love about Camilla so much that he ignored Diana's pain, even when she hurt herself to get his attention? Before Diana, there was Camilla. Even though they got married almost 10 years after Diana's death, most people agree that Camilla was the first important woman in Prince Charles's life before Diana. But she was seeing Andrew, her ex-husband at the time. They were together in the 1960s, but they didn't meet for the first time until the 1970s. To become a part of the British upper class, Camilla had to marry a lord or duke after she graduated from college. When her friends asked her why she hadn't done it yet, she told them the truth. She had always wanted to be a part of King Charles III's life, who was still a prince at the time. Christopher Anderson wrote that she said, "I'm waiting for a king." Camilla met Charles for the first time at a polo match in 1970 when she walked up to him and told him how great his horse was. After the polo match, she met Charles for real at a cocktail party, where she told him that her great-grandmother and his great-great-grandfather had been lovers. She always knew what she wanted and wasn't exactly shy about telling Charles, Anderson said. Their relationship did, however, face major problems. At first, there was the royal family's close watch over young Camilla Shand and Charles's departure while he was in the Royal Navy. While he was away, Camilla and Andrew got back together, and Andrew eventually asked her to marry him. They got married in 1973. During their marriage, they had 2 children, named Laura Lopes and Tom Parker. Then there was Diana. She married Charles in 1980 and quickly became known as the People's Princess because of all the good things she did for others. One of the most famous love plots in recent history began with this. At first, the royal family didn't like Charles's relationship with Camilla because they thought she wasn't good enough to be queen. Camilla is 16 months older than King Charles. Before she met Charles, she was in a lot of different relationships. Diana, on the other hand, was seen as the good, innocent choice. She wasn't sure what would happen in the most famous marriage in modern history when she married Charles. She was only 20 years old at the time. Diana quickly lost her cool with Camilla, and the marriage turned into a fight for her feelings. Tom Bower, author of Rebel Prince, The Power, Passion, and Defiance of Prince Charles, says that Camilla didn't like Diana very much. He says, "Her friends, at least, were never in any doubt about Camilla's dislike for her lover's younger wife." At the beginning of her marriage, she called the princess a mouse in a rude way. She would later call her that crazy cow. The fact that Camilla was angry at Diana makes this very clear. However, Camilla wasn't the only one who called her rival names. Simmons, Diana's friend, wrote in Diana, "The last word that the princess called the lover of her husband the Rottweiler because once Camilla has her teeth into someone, she won't let go." The fact that these insulting comments were made shows how much the 2 women want the same guy. After this fight, Camilla has worked hard to fix her image, hoping to win back the public's respect and do her job as queen consort. Before getting to this point, though, one has to think, did Diana really die in a terrible car accident? Or is there something darker going on? Though many debates and ideas have come up over the years, only one has really caught people's attention. Diana's controversial letter. There are many ideas about why Diana died too soon, but her touching letter has captured many, especially those who miss her very much. She was called the People's Princess after all. What was written in this letter? Did Diana know she was going to die, or was it possible that she planned the car accident? In the months before her untimely death, Princess Diana wrote a sensitive and controversial letter to her maid, Paul Burrell, to keep him safe. This letter, which was written only 10 months before the fatal crash in Paris, has led to a lot of talk about whether her death was really an accident or if there was something more evil going on. The letter was from October 1990 and had a shocking reveal in it. As Diana wrote, "This time in my life is the most dangerous. My husband is planning an accident in my car with broken brakes and a serious head injury so that he can marry Tiggy. Do you want to know who Tiggy was?" Diana thought that Tiggy Legeborg, who babysat Princes William and Harry, was having an affair with Prince Charles. This makes me wonder if Prince Charles was having another affair with the babysitter at the time. Yes, he was. Diana's words were very scary because they made it sound like she thought her life was in danger and that someone was planning to hurt her. In his book, A Royal Duty, which came out in 2023, Paul Burrell later showed this letter to the public. The news caused a storm of plot theories, and many people began to doubt the official story that Diana's death was just an accident. Instead, rumors spread that her death was planned by people who wanted to hide her from the public. One theory that got a lot of attention was that the event was planned by members of the British royal family or British intelligence services. Some people who believed this idea said that Diana's relationship with Dodi Fayed and the possibility of them getting married were very dangerous for the British monarchy since Dodi was a Muslim. Some people in the establishment thought it was unacceptable for Diana, who would be the mother of the future king, to marry a Muslim man. The shocking information in the letter and the conspiracy ideas that sprung up around it led to many inquiries and inquests. The most famous of these was Operation Paget, which was run by the British Metropolitan Police and looked into all the different claims about Diana's death. After an in-depth investigation, the jury found in 2008 that Diana and Dodi Fayed were killed illegally because their chauffeur, Henri Paul, was driving recklessly while drunk, and the reporters were following them around non-stop. The jury also said that the sad deaths were made worse by the lack of seatbelts. Even though these formal conclusions were made, conspiracy theories kept growing. A lot of people were sure that Diana's death wasn't an accident and that the letter she wrote to Paul Burrell was a very important message that shouldn't be ignored. Since Diana's death, Paul Burrell has done a lot of interviews in which he constantly says that he thinks Diana was really afraid for her life. The following year, Burrell told the Daily Mirror, "Diana was sure her life was in danger. People were always making plans to hurt her, so she was always suspicious. Many people have been wondering about what she was afraid of and how she died, which has led to a lot of gossip. It's still unclear whether Diana's fears were based on real threats or were caused by her extreme stress and paranoia. This may never be fully answered. But the letter is a moving reminder of the people's princess's sad and complicated life. Her death continues to amaze and puzzle people. Another strange thing about Diana's death is the mysterious car accident that killed her bodyguard. People became even more sure that Diana's death wasn't just a sad accident, but might have been part of a bigger, well-thought-out plan. It's possible that the car was tampered with before the driver got in, or the reporters who were after Diana were paid to set up a situation that would cause the crash. Even though there are many theories, none of them have given solid proof that Princess Diana's death was planned. People all over the world are still sad about the death of one of the most beloved royal figures of the last few decades. She devoted her life to helping others even when it put her at risk. Camilla attempts to salvage her image. Camilla Parker Bowles was one of the most hated women in the world when Diana died at age 36, leaving behind 2 young kids. Christopher Anderson said that people saw her as a home wrecker who not only caused Charles and Diana's marriage to end, but was also blamed for Diana's sad death. The reaction against her was strong, and the media followed her around non-stop for years, making Camilla afraid to leave her house. In the face of all this stress, Charles and Camilla hired a media expert to help them. This person planned Operation PB for Parker Bowles. Camilla got a full makeover as part of this project. She got new hair, dental work, a new wardrobe, some cosmetic treatments, and lost weight. These steps were meant to change her public image so that people would admire both her good deeds and the way she looked. As one of her last wishes, the late Queen Elizabeth II supported Camilla as Queen Consort by 2022. This choice was made in February, only 7 months before she died. The public found it hard to accept this support, but Camilla has worked hard to improve her image and become accepted. She has slowly earned respect over the years since Diana's death by doing her royal duties and helping others, eventually living out the late Queen's vision for her role in the monarchy. Editor-in-chief of Majesty magazine Ingrid Seward told the Associated Press that Camilla has won over a lot of people in Britain with her down-to-earth attitude and kindness, especially her work against domestic violence, rape, and abuse. According to Seward, she has shown people the real her, that she's not this bad girl, and that she's there to do the hard job without really trying too hard. All she did was give it time and be gentle. Despite this, Camilla still has a lot of work to do. She was widely called the mistress before she became a princess because she stayed close to Charles even when he was married to Princess Diana. I would actually argue that she is still the other woman and probably will remain the other woman. Ariane Chernock, a professor of modern British history at Boston University, said about this ongoing view. Chernock said that Diana's spirit is still very much felt, especially since the coronation is coming up. Diana will very much be a presence in the room in Westminster Abbey on May 6th, she said, implying that seeing Charles and Camilla makes one think of Diana. This emotion shows how Princess Diana's image still casts a shade over Camilla, even though she died 20 years ago. Christopher Anderson is a famous royal author who has written books like The Day Diana Died, The Good Son, and Game of Crowns. He is skeptical about Camilla's popularity with the people. He says there are those who see Camilla as warm and non-threatening, but just as many, if not more, who still view her as the scheming other woman. In an interview with British Vogue in 2023, Camilla talked about her image and how she dealt with being constantly watched by the public. She said, "Nobody likes being looked at all the time and, criticized. But I think I get over it and move on in the end." Even though people have different opinions about Charles and Camilla's relationship, Anderson says, Charles and Camilla are true soulmates. Even Diana came to see that they were meant to be together in the end. As for Prince William, recent stories about him have made people wonder how stable his marriage is, which has led to worries that it might be like the problems his parents had. People are paying close attention to the future king to see how he handles his role in light of these troubling claims after the latest scandal. Prince William's alleged affair. The British royal family has been the subject of many rumors and speculations in recent years. One of the most shocking was the story that Prince William was having an affair with Rose Hanbury, a close family friend. The public and the media are very interested in this rumored scandal, which has led to reactions from the royal family and a lot of interviews and stories trying to find the truth. It was first said in early 2019 that Prince William was having an affair with Rose Hanbury, the Marchioness of Cholmondeley. David Rocksavage, the 7th Marquess of Cholmondeley, is married to Rose. Rose used to be a model. They've known Prince William and Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge, for a long time and are friends with them. The two families are often seen together at parties and royal events. Tabloids said there was a rift between Catherine and Rose, with some saying it was because of the supposed affair. People in royal circles said that this reported fight was a major source of tension. The Duchess of Cambridge was said to want Rose to be phased out of their social group, which led to more reports and a media frenzy about the situation. Since the British royal family has a reputation for being calm and quiet in public, they didn't say anything official about the reports about Prince William and Rose Hanbury. However, people close to the family quickly shot down the claims, calling them hurtful rumors that were not based on facts. Reports say that Prince William didn't like how these stories spread because he thought they were an invasion of privacy and a clear lie. Someone who spoke to Hollywood Life said that Kate Middleton didn't believe the rumors, but was worried about Rose because she was married with kids and not used to this kind of public scrutiny. Even though the situation was stressful, William and Kate chose to ignore the rumors, even though their lawyers told media outlets that spread the story that they would be sued. Months after the first rumors came out, a source told Us Weekly that the scandal ended up making William and Kate's relationship stronger instead of weaker. As stated, it forced her and William to sit back and examine their relationship, which they realized they should have been doing more often. It looks like William has learned from his dad's mistakes and is set on making sure that no one else gets in the way of his marriage. He was only 15 years old when his mother died, so the memory of Princess Diana still sticks with him and affects how he makes choices about family and love. He is very aware of the mental turmoil that these kinds of events can cause and is determined to keep his children from going through the same things.